Hello everybody, Mega Goal number 4, Unit 1, There is no place like home, 5, Listening, page number 11. Now let's take a look at the objectives. Number 1, listen to answer the given questions. Number 2, pronounce two-syllable words correctly. And number 3, read and give the meaning of the new words. راح نسمع عشان نجاوب على الأسئلة. برضو راح ننطق الكلمات اللي تتكون من مقطعين بطريقة صحيحة. راح برضو نقرأ ونعطي المعنى الصحيح للكلمات. Now there is no place like home. Please move on to page number 11. So as you could see here, we will be covering listening, pronunciation, and vocabulary building. So please move on to page 11 and let's start with the listening part. Right now you will be listening to the real estate agent talking about important factors to consider when looking for an apartment to rent. Tick the factors mentioned. راح تستمعون إلى حديث وكيل عقاري حول العوامل المهمة التي يجب مراعاتها عند البحث على شقة للإيجار. ضع علامة على العوامل التي تم ذكرها. So if you could see here, we have 10 factors. Some of them, the real estate agent mentioned them in his talking, so you are asked to tick the ones that he mentioned. I'd recommend that you pause the video, read these factors very carefully, and then afterwards you can run the video again. ممكن توقفون الفيديو تقرؤون هذه العوامل very carefully وبعدها تشغلون الفيديو من جديد and you start listening to the audio. So get ready to listen and tick the ones that real estate agent mentioned, the factors that he mentioned. So get ready to listen.
Page 11. 5. Listening. Listen to the real estate agent talk about important factors to consider when looking for an apartment to rent. Tick the factors mentioned.
Finding the right apartment to rent can have a big impact on your life. Still, finding the right rental doesn't have to be an overwhelming project if you know what to look for. Here are some of the most important factors to keep in mind. The location of the apartment is extremely important. You might find a beautiful, big apartment, but if you don't like the neighborhood, you're probably not going to be happy in your home. Ask yourself, do I like the feel of this neighborhood? Is it convenient for shopping and transportation? Is it safe enough? Is having a lot of light important to you? Then be sure to check the number and size of windows in the apartment and whether they are facing south. If an apartment doesn't have enough light, you may find it to be a depressing place to live. Check the size of the rooms to make sure your furniture will fit. After all, the last thing you want to discover on moving day is that your queen-sized bed won't fit into the bedroom. Also check that there is enough closet space to fit all of your clothes. Do you have a pet? If so, find out whether pets are allowed in the building. If you don't like or are allergic to pets, you might want to look for an apartment in a building that does not allow them. Do you have a car? If so, you should check to see if a parking spot is included in the rent. You should also check the convenience and safety of the parking. And lastly, be sure to read every word of the rental contract. If there is anything you don't understand, get clarification before you sign the contract. The apartment you choose will be the place you wake up in and go home to each day, so it's worth taking the time to carefully consider these factors. If you do, you are bound to find a rental that is just right for you.
So again, we have listened to a real estate agent talking about the important factors that you should be considering while looking for an apartment. So as he said, looking for the right apartment may be overwhelming. ممكن يكون شعور غامر أو ممكن يكون مربك. But here are some of the important factors that he mentioned and you should put into your consideration while looking for an apartment. So he said something about the location and the neighborhood اللي هو الحي. Also he talked about the number of the windows يعني إذا كان اللايتنج أو الإضاءة جدا مهمة بالنسبة لك. Also he talked about the number of closet عدد اللي هي الكلازت اللي هو الدواليب الموجودة في الأبارتمنت. Also he says that you should check also the size of the rooms because if you're moving your furniture إذا كنت راح تنقل أثاثك you should make sure that you have enough space for your furniture. Also he said that you should check whether pets are allowed in the building in case if you have a pet اللي هو حيوان أليف, or also if you are allergic to pet and you do not want to move to an apartment or a building where they allow pet. إذا كان عندك مثلا حساسية من الحيوانات الأليفة ممكن تشيك إذا مسموح بالحيوانات الأليفة أو لا. برضو إذا كان عندك حيوان أليف ممكن تشيك إذا مسموح أو لا. Also you should check whether a parking spot is included. برضو لازم تشيك إذا كان طبعا في موقف للسيارات. Also he mentioned something which is very important but which is not listed here, مو موجودة هنا, which is reading the contract very carefully. قراءة العقد بشكل يعني very carefully, okay? And if there is something that you do not understand, get a clarification. إذا في شيء ما تفهمونه في العقد مفروض إنك تحصل على توضيح. Now this is regarding the listening part. Now let's move on to the pronunciation part. As I said earlier in this video that we are gonna practice pronouncing two syllable words accurately. راح ننطق الكلمات اللي تتكون من مقطعين بشكل صحيح. Now here in English there are many two-syllable words whose part of speech and meaning change if you change the stress. في بعض الكلمات عندنا تتكون من مقطعين, لكن مثلا إذا أنا شددت على مقطع دون مقطع ممكن يغير part of speech, يعني ممكن يغيره من فعل إلى اسم وممكن يغير برضو المعنى. So you have to be very careful when you pronounce two-syllable words. Now stress the first syllable of most two-syllable nouns. عادة نشدد على المقطع الأول من الأسماء اللي طبعا الكلمات اللي تتكون من مقطعين اللي تكون اسم. And also we stress the last syllable of most two-syllable verbs. لكن لما يكون عندي two-word syllable إذا أنا بحط التشديد على المقطع الثاني فهنا بتكون في حالة الأفعال. Now we have here, as you could see, some of the words that are nouns and يعني the same word, الكلمة نفسها two-syllable word. Some of them are nouns and some of them are verbs. Now you have to be very careful because when it is a noun لما يكون اسم we stress the first syllable. نشدد على المقطع الأول. لكن when it is a verb we stress the second syllable. Now you have to listen and practice. نسمع وكذلك نتدرب. Okay, so get ready to listen and practice pronouncing two-word syllable.
Page 11. 6. Pronunciation. In English, there are many two-syllable words whose part of speech and meaning change if you change the stress. Stress the first syllable of most two-syllable nouns. Stress the last syllable of most two-syllable verbs. Listen and practice.
1. Finding the right apartment can have a big impact on your life. 2. Paying rent that is too expensive for you can impact your lifestyle. 3. Finding the right apartment doesn't have to be an overwhelming project. 4. When you go to a job interview, you should project a sense of confidence. 5. Be sure to read every word of the rental contract. 6. Some people contract dangerous viruses while they are traveling abroad.
'So right now we have listened to 2-syllable words, and in these sentences, some of them the same word came as a noun, and also it came as a verb, and you have realized how we pronounce each one of them differently based on the part of speech. Like here, finding, if you could take a look at number 3, finding the right apartment doesn't have to be an overwhelming project. Okay, so here project, we stress the first syllable because it's a noun. Okay, but in sentence number 4, when you go to a job interview, you should project a sense of confidence. So here, the stress should be in the second syllable because, or the last syllable, because project here is a verb. The same goes for number 1, 2, 5, and 6. So right now, I'd recommend that you pause the video and practice pronouncing these 2-syllable words accurately. Now let's move on to the vocabulary building. Usually we have here a list of words that you will be finding in the reading passage on pages 12 and 13. And right now you are asked to match the words with their meanings. Before we start matching the words with their meanings, I'm gonna flash the words right now, and we will discuss each one of them in details, and of course we will give the meaning of it in Arabic as well. So the first one is downsize. When you downsize something, it means you go from big or bigger to smaller. من الأكبر إلى الأصغر. Now, claustrophobic. Claustrophobic means afraid of small or enclosed spaces. Claustrophobic. Nurturing, okay, which means caring. Nurturing. Now this one is maintenance. Maintain. Maintain, it means to take care of and keep in good condition. Maintain. Okay, so right now or nowadays you may have heard this word very often, especially with COVID-19. You are asked to maintain social distance. محافظة على مسافات بينك وبين الشخص. Okay, maintain. Now this one is minimal, which means the least amount. Amenities, which means attractive or desirable features. Amenities. Now let's go back to the vocabulary building and let's match each word with its meaning. Now to downsize, it means to go from bigger to smaller. Claustrophobic, which means afraid of small or enclosed spaces. Nurturing, which means caring. Maintain, which means to take care of and keep in good condition. Minimal, which means the least amount. Amenities, which means attractive or desirable features. Right now we have reached the end of the lesson. I hope that you have enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe, share this video with your friends, and hit the like button. Till next time, have a good one.